Hi guys, it's Jason, and today I want to talk about something that I call the money out issue. And the money out issue is this fact that we really don't talk about too much in the realm of cryptocurrencies, but I think it's a very important topic to discuss. So we're very prone to talking about the Bitcoin's price or Litecoin's price, and we're always wanting to see those prices go up because, in a market-driven society, we want prices to go up, meaning the value has went up, which is always good. Here's the problem. You guys know I'm a miner, and so I have mining equipment back in my side room. You guys know I also buy coins. Well, I want to take in a consideration. On a small scale mine setup, for instance, like what I run, I'm using electricity every month, but we just pay electricity bill, and I kind of pretend like that doesn't exist. And you should, but I don't, right? So when you're mining, you have your mining equipment, and then you have the electricity cost to run that mining equipment. Well, on a small scale, it doesn't matter. You pay electricity bill. You might pay an extra few dollars a month or an extra, $10 a month, but it's no big deal. You just consider that, a capital investment, reoccurring each month to, allow you to be able to mine. Well, so there's no, extra cost. So for someone like me, I just keep mining, month after month after month, and, my dad pays electricity bill. He's kind of giving me like a little donation, to keep my miners running because, he's invested in the project with me. And then, the coins I have go into mobile wallets, and I secure them, 3-key pair and all that various stuff. But I've never had to take any money out of the cryptocurrency market. I bought the equipment up front, the GPUs and the ASIC miners, and that was it. But now let's go to the medium scale and the large scale operations, like those that we've seen in Ireland and in Iceland, and now in some parts of the undisclosed United States, where people have multi-million-dollar setups of mining equipment. Well, suddenly your power bill is in the 30 to 40 to 50, and sometimes if your operation is large enough, $100,000 USD, of course, a month in electricity costs. Well, suddenly you can't have that recurring payment and recurring capital investment, because normally what you do if you're doing a risky endeavor like this, you're going to venture capitalists that are, high yield, high risk, high yield is what they call it. So basically, it's saying with a venture capitalist, I've talked about this before. They might fund 1,000 projects with the assumption that only 2 or 3 of those projects are actually going to ever make any money. But the idea is it's going to have a very high yield. So it's a very high risk, but a very high yield if they do succeed. So they go and they get maybe like a $30 million or $20 million loan to start this mining operation, to build the facility, get all the mining equipment, to pay for all the networking equipment and the servers and the electricity facility, because you have to create the AC to DC current on a large scale like that. You have to have your own transformer and stuff off on the side of your site, and it's a huge capital investment. So once you get that capital fund, $20, $30, $50 million initially, you're normally not going to see recurring, miniature amounts of money. Like you're not going to see someone willing to donate, or not donate, willing to invest 50, 100, 250,000 a month in electricity bills. So suddenly you have to take a portion of the coins you mine, sell on market, and use that selling to pay for your coins. So let's go through this. Say I'm mining Bitcoins, and I'm mining those Bitcoins. Well, suddenly now I have to sell 30% of those coins each month at market value to turn that Bitcoin into USD, so I can pay, in Ohio it would be AEP, so I can pay AEP for electricity. Well, here's the main issue. This is why I call it the money out issue. Because what happens is you're taking money out of the economy of Bitcoin. So, Bitcoin's going up and down, it's going around just because that's how markets work. Well, suddenly now, I just took, $100,000 out of Bitcoin's economy to pay for electricity. The Bitcoin market value is less $100,000. And it affects market fluctuation because you have buy and sell walls that get, issued around. And I'm going to go into detail on those, but that's a lot more higher level investing, and the average user probably doesn't care about buy and sell walls and how those are affected by large price manipulations and, currency requests and all that crazy stuff. There's a reason why Bitcoin, we call it liquidability. For instance, when China and Russia are doing their oil deal, there's a reason they're using USD currency. It's because even with a plan like a $100 billion pipeline deal, $100 billion on the U.S. economy and the U.S. currency isn't going to sway very much. Where if you're using the Russian ruble, which is having a terrible time right now, or even the Chinese currency, it's going to fluctuate their actual value of currency relative to other currencies in the world. And you don't want that. So we have this big issue, right? And you have people who say, well, and this is another problem. You people who day trade Bitcoin or weekly trade Bitcoin, I call them the Bitcoin investors or the cryptocurrencies investors. And they're great to have. You need those in a functioning market to be, really essentially keep the value relative, to make sure the prices stay in sync with one another, with other cryptocurrencies, and with the world Forex market, which is the currency market. But the issue with that is then those people have to make a living. So say these people want to make $10,000 a month and they're trading and making a value of $60,000 or $70,000 a month. They're taking that $10,000 out of the Bitcoin economy so they can pay themselves. So what happens is you have to have a current inflow of money coming in every day of new investment money into cryptocurrencies to continue to keep that price value. But that's not it. That's not all of it either. If you guys know anything, you know that every day for every block we have, there's 25 new Bitcoins that come out. And there's a block every 10 minutes. So we have a lot of new Bitcoins being produced every day. And yes, those require miners and it requires a lot of energy. And those miners have to spend 20, 30, or sometimes even more percent of their investment yield or those coins to trade USD to pay for electricity. But they also have the issue that they got to pay their workers. They got to pay back that mining equipment. That mining equipment wasn't free, and I can guarantee those investors normally don't want to keep Bitcoin. Normally, now you have some very rare venture capitalists out there that say, no, you know what, we're going to take a huge risk. We're going to let you keep on the mining equipment. We're going to pay all the mining equipment off at the beginning, and instead of you paying us monthly payments back, which is what most venture capitalists like, they say, okay, in 5 years you're going to cash out those Bitcoins and give us 60% of the profits. That's very rare and usually not going to happen. You might see that happen on some medium scale operations, but on large scale operations, you're not going to have someone that's willing to invest $50 or $100 million and wait 5 years and not get anything in the immediate return. That's very, very rare. So, I do a lot of research for Florin Coin. I'm the president of the Florin Coin Foundation. I'm really, really big advocate of Florin Coin and its features. And one of the big things I do research on is it takes roughly about $26 a day added to Florin Coin to keep the value the same. So say we're at, I think, like 1/100%, right? Which, so 1 cent gets you 100 coins. Well, for that price to stay steady with the new coins coming into the market every single day because miners are producing more coins, you have to have $26 of USD currency going in every day of investment. Now, it doesn't have to be every day. It could be, for instance, every 3 days you have to have $100. Something roughly like that. But for the market to stay steady, you have to have that current flow of investment. And so when people look at Bitcoin's price and they say, I just don't understand why the Bitcoin price isn't going up, it should be going up. You have to realize that you're paying for electricity, you want to pay off your mining equipment, you got to pay off your workers, got to pay, for the facility. And then the people that are, just doing day trading investment, they got to pay for themselves. They got to pay for their, everything that they use, their equipment, in the real market, we have some very sophisticated machines that do market analysis. For Bitcoin, you don't really see that too much. You just see the average person that says, hey, I want to be a investor in Bitcoin. I want to day trade. Actually, I told my cousin about Bitcoin, and him and some of his coworkers day trade Bitcoin now as a hobby. They threw in about $5,000 a piece, just kind of to blow around, and they've been making about $200 or $300 a month, and they love it. They think it's fun. It's just enjoyable for them, and they're making in a year about 30 or 40, sometimes 50%. Now I know that's pretty relatively low, but they're more conservative investors. This is more just a fun project for them. They're just throwing a little capital into it, but they want to make profit. Now some of the coworkers say, you know what, I'm gonna leave all the money in here. I'm gonna consider it like an IRA. I'm not gonna touch it. Some of them say, I want to take all the profit out and I want to spend it. I want to have a little bit extra spending money this month. And the problem with that is, again, they're taking money out of the Bitcoin ecosystem and economy. So with Bitcoin, it's a huge, substantial amount of money that needs to be increased in the economy every day just to keep a price equality, to keep the price the same. If you want to see the price get even greater, you have to have even more money into the Bitcoin system. And I talk about this all the time. I talk about how all this stuff is developing for Bitcoin, and we know in 5 years Bitcoin is going to have so much development out there, and the technology and all the research and all the really the products, the services, and the banking kind of revolution of services are going to come along, and they're going to be available. And that helps. Every day the value of Bitcoin goes up from a speculator point of view because of those services. But at the same time, as an investor, I'm looking and saying, okay, well, this amount of money is coming out of the Bitcoin economy every day because of all these extra, fees. We have electricity, all this stuff I talked about previously, and it creates an issue because suddenly you have to have an onspring of investors continue to come in. So you have to have investor money coming in as miner money and investor money is coming out. And it becomes a rotating circle of two really investment cycles, a business and investment. And that's why we get to that point. I know I haven't done YouTube videos for a while, and a lot of people have been sending me that question. They said, Jason, I don't understand. The last year Bitcoin hasn't really risen that much, and is it still a sound investment? And I never give investment advice. I always tell people to make their own decisions based on what they read, what they research. But realize there's a lot of money coming out of Bitcoin. So what we don't really hear about is every day there's tons and tons of money being invested. There's new investors coming in and buying Bitcoins, which is great for the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency economy. It's going to take a few more years. I'm still waiting on the Bitcoin ETF through the Winklevoss twins. That's going to be amazing. I'm so excited for it. There's a lot of things that I know some people, I can't say publicly because of non-disclosure agreements, but there's some stuff coming to Bitcoin. Going to be pretty crazy to see here recently, so I'm pretty excited. So long live the Bitcoin, and have a great afternoon.